Welcome to Sachin Ochakde show. My name is Mauro Porcini and I am the SVP and Chief Design Officer of PepsiCo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ochakde show. We're Silicon Valley's first business podcast for teens, hosted by a teen. I'm Sachin Syal, a 16-year-old award-winning entrepreneur and podcaster from the Bay Area, and I interview remarkable and influential people from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up ourselves. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of 3doshas.com. We're a lifestyle coaching platform, and we're trying to transform lives through coaching principles inspired by yoga and Ayurveda. The purpose of this show is to inspire you to go for it, which is what Ochakde means. I'm so excited today, guys. Our special guest is Mauro Porcini, the Senior Vice President and first ever Chief Design Officer at PepsiCo. He's responsible for leading innovation by design across the company's food and beverage portfolio and extending from physical to virtual expressions of the brands, including product, packaging, events, retail activation, architecture, and digital media. He's also the author of The Human Side of Innovation, The Power of People in Love with People. So Mauro, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. How are you and what's new and exciting?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here with you and with the people listening to us and watching us right now. What's new and exciting? I just got a new dog. The third one, nice. The third Pomeranian, and it was totally an emotional purchase. I went to the store, just passing by, let's have a look, and I got out of the store with the third Pomeranian. Then I have a daughter that is a little bit older than 1 year old, so a lot of excitement in the house right now.
I think I saw it on your. Did you post a picture on your Instagram of the new dog?
I did.
Yeah, I saw it. I follow you. I saw it. It's an adorable dog. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where are you joining from today?
I am in New York City, and I think you are in the Bay Area, right?
Yes, I'm in the Bay Area.
I love the magic. I mean, for you and your generation, you know, I guess you take it for granted, the possibility of just having a conversation like this, thousands of miles away from each other.
It's incredible.
But when I was your age, there were not even video calls, you know, and every day I appreciate what the technology give us the possibility to do. Actually, my work as it is today, Chief Design Officer of a company with 17 design centers all around the world, from India, where you're from, all the way to Brazil, China, the UK, and many other regions. It couldn't exist in this way, with this kind of efficiency and being able to talk with each other every day, looking at each other in the eyes, solving problems, working together on the same platform, no matter we are thousands or dozens of thousands of miles away from each other. It's magic.
It's so cool. I agree. It's just amazing how people can connect this way.
Hey guys, I want to talk about something about my mentor and friend who you may know, Lloyd Lobo, because I actually interviewed him on this show. He released a book that became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. The book is From Grassroots to Greatness, 13 Rules to Build Iconic Brands with Community-Led Growth. He's curated wisdom from both big brands and hyper-growth startups, including Apple, Atlassian, CrossFit, Harley-Davidson, HubSpot, Nike, Red Bull, and many more to teach you to build an audience and turn it into a community and movement. I personally find all the art and like the design and format on this book super catchy. I think we can all learn from the graphic design that was used in here and how Lloyd and his team were able to make this a masterpiece. There's a quote by Lloyd that I really like. It goes, yesterday's innovation becomes tomorrow's commodity. But if you build a community, you won't become a commodity. So think about that. That's spot on. I really love that quote. If you want to get a copy, you can go to FromGrassrootsToGreatness.com or just go to Amazon and search up From Grassroots to Greatness. Enjoy the episode, guys.
Let's start with the basic question. I always wondered this: what's the difference between Pepsi and PepsiCo?
Well, actually, this is a very good question, because people use the two words as synonym. Oh, you work for Pepsi. Well, actually, I work for PepsiCo. PepsiCo is the company, is an $80 billion plus company in terms of revenue. And Pepsi is one of the many brands, but we have more than 20 additional brands that are above the $1 billion of revenue, some of them double-digit $1 billion. And then we have 40 brands between 250 millions and the billions on top of the 20. And so, as you can imagine, we have so many brands to manage in the portfolio. They go from the Pepsi we already named to Mountain Dew and Gatorade and 7-Up and Lay's and Doritos and Cheetos, and then for instance, and or brands that I love deeply like SodaStream, you know, that give you the possibility to reuse your bottle, use the tap water from your sink and create your own carbonated water or soda eventually now with the different flavors that you can find in the United States and in other regions of the world to customize the soda in a totally sustainable way, and many other brands. But so it's really, really fun and not that easy to manage so many different brands in so many different regions of the world in different industries in food and beverage.
Got it. Thanks for the explanation. Chief Design Officer sounds like such a cool position. I looked into it, like, I mean, innovation, design, all the stuff you do, you have to be extremely creative. And I was just wondering, like, how did you like discover it? Like, what inspired you to pursue a career in design and innovation? And then how'd you even like discover it in the first place?
Look, I describe it in my book. At the very first chapter, I talk about the fact that as a kid, well, actually, when I was exactly your age, my dream was to either become a writer, an author of books. I love literature and philosophy. Or the other goal that I had, the other dream, was to become an artist. The problem was that in Italy back then, it was not that easy to find a job and earn money as an author or as an artist. And I was coming from a humble family. We didn't have a lot of money. We were not wealthy for sure. And my parents did infinite sacrifices to send me to university. By the way, public university, free, but it was still difficult, you know, for me not to work for 5 years and do university for 5 years. So I had to find a job when I graduated. There was a must. I couldn't do anything else. And so I decided to take a compromise and study architecture. My father was an architect, even though his passion was art. And so I was exposed to the world of architecture. I thought it was a good compromise between the world of art and the world of business and something concrete, a real job. And then a few days before doing the exam to enter, because it was a limited number of people allowed to enter that university, was I think 500 people that year. A friend of mine, somebody at school with me, in high school with me, calls me and tells me that there is this new university called, actually it was a new faculty called design, is part of architecture in the Politecnico University that had engineering, architecture, and now they were adding design. It was not called design in Italy, it was called disegno industriale. That is really misleading because in Italian, we use the word in English, design, we don't translate it to talk about design. When we say disegno instead, it means drawing. So I was like, oh, industrial drawing, it is new, it's very concrete, it's linked to the industry. Probably there is the possibility to find a job in an easier way. It's still part of architecture. If I don't like it after the first year, I can move to architecture. So I take a leap of faith, I go to do the test. The test goes very well. I am first out of thousands of people that apply. So I was like, oh, maybe this is a good career for me. But I literally do a leap of faith. I jump in the void. I really didn't know exactly what I was going to do. It sounded a little bit creative, you know, design, disegno. Industrial was a reference to the business, to the world of business, to commerce, making it very tangible and concrete. So long story short, I start in this way, totally random. And after a few months, I realized that I found the most beautiful university, the most beautiful job of the world, at least for what I wanted to do. I always loved the idea of creating and doing something that people can touch and use and can impact the life of people. It was always my dream. Even when I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be an artist. In reality, I wanted to be somebody creating something that could go in the hands of people and somehow could give them some form of emotion, some form of value. And design is all about that. A lot of people think that design is the aesthetic of a product, of packaging, of clothing, of an experience. The reality is that design, what you study at School of Design, is all about understanding people. You start with that. You understand their needs, you understand their frustration, their desires, their dreams, and then they teach you to create a solution for that. Now, the solution could be a product. You may need a car to move from A to B. You may need a drink to hydrate yourself. You may need clothing, not just to cover your body, but also for a sense of style, because you want to express yourself. But it all starts with a need. Design school teach you to understand those needs by observing people and then translating those insights into a solution. It could be a product, packaging, service, communication, a story, and many other things. And this is beautiful.
So okay, I'm gonna try to get this correct. So it's first like understanding people and like finding something that you can make a product out of. But like a lot of people are product or service. What exactly does it mean, like as your role as like chief design officer at PepsiCo? What exactly does you and your team do, and like just to improve the overall company?
I give you an example. So PepsiCo has been operating for many, many years in an industry that's been very stable, creating sodas. There is Pepsi, there are our friends in Atlanta that produce Coca-Cola, and there are a variety of different players in the market. But the world is changing, and there are new needs and new technology that come into place, and new expectations from people. So there are 4 different areas that we're really working on very seriously right now, that are the drivers, the mega trends, not just in our industry, but in many other industries. One is sustainability, one is health and wellness, one is personalization, so customization of any solution for what you specifically need. And then finally, the 4th one is essentially something that overarch all the other 3, and is the role of technology and how new technologies can disrupt an entire industry, habits, way of working and behaving of people. Now, back to PepsiCo. Something interesting that we've been developing in the past couple of years, for instance, is this system called Gatorade GX, where essentially, traditionally, you will go to a store, buy your bottle of Gatorade and drink whatever flavor you like or formulation you like of Gatorade. Now you have the possibility to buy a system of products where you have patches that are smart patches that you put on your skin. They are sort of wearable technologies. You put on your skin, and when you perform, you exercise, these patches monitor the sweating, and both the frequency of sweating, how much we're sweating, and the composition of sweating, and send information to an app. This app recommends you the kind of Gatorade that you need. That doesn't come in a bottle anymore, but it comes in a concentrate. You have your reusable bottle, totally sustainable. You fill the bottle with tap water, you put your concentrate of Gatorade, the one personalized for you, exactly what you need on the base of what your patch is telling you. The bottle is a smart bottle with a microchip that monitor how much you're drinking of the specific formulation and send information to your app. So with this technology and this platform, you are able to customize what you're drinking on the basis of what your body really needs. This is an example of something that is in market. The reality is that there is so much more that we're working on in the company that consumers, people out there, don't see. And this is what designers do. The vision for the future is a future where we will wake up in the morning and Alexa or Google Home or whatever intelligence that will be in your house will welcome you, will tell you, "Good morning, Sachin. I know that you didn't sleep very well." And you'll be like, "What do you mean? I slept like an angel." And the Google Home, Alexa, or the intelligence in the home will tell you, "No, I know that you didn't sleep very well." Because she knows she has a device on you. It could be an Apple Watch. It could be a tattoo that you have in your body. It could be a patch. It could be something that is monitoring the way you sleep. And it's telling you things that you are not even aware of, that maybe you didn't sleep very well. The intelligence of the home knows also your health history, knows also your agenda of the day, that eventually the day you have a very important exam at school, and will suggest you exactly what you need to drink on the base of all these variables. And will, with a fountain, with a machine that you have in your kitchen, will produce it for you. She will know your taste. She will know that eventually you like a hot drink with lemon, as an example, but she will add that day an extra dose of vitamin B and magnesium and electrolytes and God knows what on the base of what you need that morning to give you the energy that you need during the day. And the same thing will happen by 3D printing snacks and food. And so you may find a cookie that morning to put, in the drink or to eat with a drink that is exactly what you need for the day. Then at lunchtime, you still want to have a salad. You still want to have, as an Italian, I would have a good pasta with vongole, with clams. You still want to have all of this. I love food and natural food coming from the field. I love that. And I love the rituality of the experience. But technology will help us adjusting on the base of what our body needs around the rituality of the food that we'll keep enjoying in a more traditional way.
That's everything you described sounds so fascinating. It's really innovative. Is this stuff already out yet, or is it like coming in a couple of years, or when?
Well, look, Gatorade GX or SodaStream Professional, you can Google about this. There's a smart machine customizing drinks for you, are just manifestation of this vision that I just described to you. And the way it works, let's say you are a designer in a company like PepsiCo. There are designers that work in the vision. So there are designers that are here imagining what is going to happen, what I described to you, and many other things that we're doing in other fields and territories. There are other designers that take that vision and work on the execution in the short term, what is going to happen tomorrow, in the year to come. And then once you have that in the short term and you have the vision, then you start to work on projects. Sorry, this is my dog that found out that I'm here,
Wait, show it on camera.
I'm gonna take her because else she's gonna keep barking all the time.
Okay, that's fine.
This is Bella.
Oh, nice.
And Bella loves to stay on the desk with me. Not just Bella. Leone, the other two may arrive any moment, but for now there is just Bella. And so there are other things that will come to market in the coming years. Obviously, they're hyper confidential. I can tell you the vision long term because it's long term. I cannot tell you exactly what is going to happen in the coming years because it's part of our innovation pipeline. Yeah. But this is what designers do in the company. There are the ones working in packaging, the one working on fountains, on experiences, events like all the events that we create around the Super Bowl or the final of the UEFA Champions League or the NBA All-Star Game, sponsored by Mountain Dew, or they're sponsored by Pepsi, and so on and so forth. And there is designers that are working in licensing and the connection of our brands with the world of fashion. And then there are designers that are working on defining the future of society, the company, and what food and beverage will be in the future. There are so many different kind of jobs that you can do under the design umbrella in a company like Pepsi.
That's amazing. I mean, all the things that I'm interested in, like as a teenager still, media, podcasting, like content creation, which is like being creative. It's just everything aligns with exactly what you do. So it's just awesome. I do have a question though. Like, if you want to be a good designer, you have to be really creative. And all the stuff that PepsiCo has come out with is amazing. But like, how do you guys like always think of new stuff that's like I don't know how, this is a question. How do you come up with new creative ideas that other competitors haven't thought of it yet? Like, how does that work?
Look, first of all, it's all about having the right people. A normal answer you receive from many business people would be, well, you need the right data. And it's true. Data today is a keyword in these companies. Data means nothing else than detailed information about what's going on in the world and what the consumers, the people buying and consuming our products want, how they behave, what they do. So yes, it's true. You need a lot of information. You need data. You need to do research. You need all of this. You need, but what you really need is the right people with the right mindset. Because you can have as many data as you want, you can do as much research as you want, but if you don't have the right ability to interpret those data in the right way, if you don't have the right ability to feel the people that you serve in the right way, to really deeply understand what they want, no matter what they're telling you, and often what they want is different than what they're telling you, and most of the time they don't know what they really want. They know what they have today, but they don't know what they could eventually have in the future, because they cannot imagine a future that is different from the one that they're used to in every product category, in every kind of situation. So you need people with the right mindset. And there are, in the book that you mentioned earlier, in the book that I wrote, The Human Side of Innovation, I talk about 4 different characteristics of these people, of these visionary innovators that I call unicorns. Curiosity is for sure one of those. That insatiable curiosity for learning that push you to read both real books and then online. There is so much information online. Is the curiosity that push you to watch podcasts like this one, or eventually create your own podcast. Is the curiosity that push you to travel. And even when you will travel for business, like it will happen in the future, even in the case, it pushes you not to just go to the business meeting, to the office, but get out of that office and get lost in the city where you go. Talk to people, talk to strangers. Curiosity pushes you to talk to strangers, not just when you travel, but also in your city. Curiosity, by definition, makes you love diversity, because you are excited by people that are thinking different from you, because you know that in that diversity, in that different kind of thinking, there is the precious gift of knowledge. There is something that they know that you don't know, just because they're different. They have a different point of view. And maybe you don't agree with many of the things they think and the way they see things, but that kind of conversation, dialogue, respectful exchange with people that are different from you will create, first of all, gems, new insights, new information that you didn't have before. First. Second, eventually it can push you to change your own mindset, to change your own perspective. It's not about my perspective or your perspective. It's not that mine is better than yours or yours is better than mine. But through a dialogue between people that are different from one another, you're going to create a third perspective that is the innovative perspective, the perspective that didn't exist before. But you need respect. You need to respect the other perspective and really embrace that conversation, that dialogue, and see that as an incredible opportunity for learning, for growing. And so this is what the real creative people do. They don't do anything special. They're super, super curious, and they see any opportunity, a trip, a book, sometime online, an encounter with a stranger as an opportunity to learn, change perspective, then look at reality and think, okay, I always thought that I could do a podcast in this way, that I could do a soda in this way, that I could do a piece of clothing or a car in this way. But now, with all the information that I have, I change a perspective, and I realize that actually I could do something that nobody ever did before, something that we call innovation, something that is new to the world.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is all about the people and having creative and innovative people. So for the aspiring designers and innovators that might be watching, what skill, do you think it's natural, like it comes naturally, or do you think, what skill do you think they need, and do you think it comes natural? Like, do you think people are born with creativity and then they have to work on it to become someone like you? Or do you think how does it work? Like, for the people that you work with at PepsiCo, like, how did they do it and how did you do it?
Look, I believe that we are all born with a series of characteristics. Once again, in the book, I talk about this list of different characteristics that we have in different levels at different degrees. To make it very tangible, imagine in sport, there are people that are born, athletes. They are really good at playing tennis, at playing soccer, people that are less. But still, the most of us can play soccer, football. I give you a ball, you practice a little bit, you can have the basic. So the point is, we're all born with the ability to do many different things. In terms of soft skills, the soft skills I was mentioning earlier, we're all born with a dose of curiosity, of optimism, of resilience, of respect for others, of many other things, empathy, and so on and so forth, with these characteristics. Then it's all about training, practice, and there are multiple values on training and practice. First of all, the first one is to become aware of the gift that you have, or aware, even better, of certain things that are really important when you want to become a designer or a business leader or a tennis player or something else. I was looking at an interview to Djokovic just a few days ago. He just won the US Open. We all saw him in TV. And he was telling how he came from a family where nobody played tennis. He was the first one that decided to play tennis. And he started to play tennis in a very difficult moment for his country. His country was at war. So he was thanking his parents for giving him the possibility to play tennis. I was looking at Djokovic, one of the most successful tennis player in history. And I was thinking, if he didn't bump into tennis, if he didn't meet this tennis thing by coincidence, we wouldn't have Djokovic. And I was thinking, God knows how many Djokovic are out there that never practiced tennis. And maybe now they are, I don't know, marketer, or they work in a factory, or they're doing something completely different, but they could be even better than Djokovic. Now, why I'm making this example? Because practice, training, the first effect of that is awareness. You become aware of something that could be your superpower. You could be an amazing tennis player, or you could realize that you are an amazing creative person. You may realize that your curiosity, your empathy, your resilience, your optimism make you an amazing innovator. But if you don't practice, and if you're not aware of the importance of these different traits, you're not gonna leverage them, even if you have them. Take kindness, for instance. Kindness and curiosity are two very important traits of the innovators I describe in the book. But if you go to a company where they tell you that kindness is actually a weakness, a vulnerability, and they tell you that they never talk about curiosity, they never value curiosity, they actually value you if you stay in the office from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and they don't care about the fact that you could get out with your curious mind and learn things, even if you're not in the office all the time. So if you are not aware of all of this, and you don't practice your curiosity, you don't practice your kindness, you will never be able to leverage them in the best possible way. So first of all, you need to be aware of tennis, soccer, curiosity, kindness, empathy. Then you need to practice them. Once you practice them, then you will get better. You will get better, even if those skills were not really well developed when you were born. By practicing them, you will become better than somebody that had them when he was born or she was born, but didn't practice them. This is true, for instance, it's been proven in the intellectual quotient, the IQ. There are people born with a certain level of IQ, but if you train and practice and learn and grow, you can increase your IQ and beat people that were born with a certain level of IQ that didn't practice. So this is true with everything. So long story short, 50% you may be gifted in specific areas, but 50% is all about practicing, training, become aware of the importance of the skills, and then take them to the next level.
Much agreed, 100%. I totally agree with you. I do think that a lot of people, they have the talent and they just don't do it for some reason. And then a lot of people, I don't know, I think what you're saying about practice is 100%, right? Because you can have the talent, but you also have to practice and make yourself better and better. So you're not just going to be born super good, but you could be born with talent, but then you just make yourself better.
Look at what you're doing now. I mean, learning to do public speaking at 16, interviewing people that are older than you, that have a lot of experience. I saw the names of, that you had in this podcast that are big names. I mean, the experience you're gaining. When you're going to be 26, God knows what you're going to be able to do. I mean, the practice that you're gaining right now, many people will do eventually what you're doing now in 10 years, in 15 years. So, And again, you don't need Mauro to tell you this. There are so many amazing athletes and business leaders that have been talking about this. Again, Djokovic had the Mamba shirt when he won, and he was somebody that really will always celebrate the importance of putting the extra hour, really putting time to practice. Many soccer players that we are all familiar with, you know, they stop 1 hour after the training with the team to tweak certain things, to tweak certain skills. Now, it's not just a matter of time. Time is important, obviously, but it's not just that. It's focus, it's discipline, it's consistency, but by the way, all things that are driven by passion, by love for what you do. There is a beautiful, beautiful book that's been written many years ago now, I think more than 20 years ago. It's Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. It's a classic. And in this book, he talks about a study that was done in the United States years ago on gifted kids. They identified a series of gifted kids that could play very well music, or very good athletes and very good mathematicians, and so on and so forth. And they've been following these kids for their life. When they got out of school, you know, and they started to work, and so on and so forth. And they found out that the kids that had a high emotional quotient were the ones that have been the most successful in life, and the ones that had a low emotional quotient were the ones that didn't make it in life, and some of them ended up being homeless and, you know, in very difficult situations. But then he specified that it was not just about the overall emotional quotient, that is something very broad and very big and means many different things. There was one specific attribute, one specific skill or feature or behavior. It was super important, common to all the successful ones. It was the love for what they were doing. The love for what they were doing. And then he explains why. It's pretty intuitive if you think about this. Because to move from gifted to successful, you need practice. You need consistency and constancy. You need resilience. You need to go on. And you need to do also some form of sacrifices. Mm-hmm. If you don't love what you're doing, if you don't enjoy playing tennis, or you don't enjoy doing design or being a musician, you're going to give up. Sooner or later, you're going to give up, or you're not going to put enough time and passion and work into what you do. So you're not going to reach what your potential could give you the ability to reach. Love what you do. You know, the subtitle of my book is People in Love with People.
People, yeah.
Power of people in love with people. There are 3 dimensions of the love. The first one is what I just described. The love for what you do. Choose a job that you will love. And sometimes we make mistakes. If you realize you made a mistake in the middle of the university or in the middle of a career path, have the courage to try to change things. Because at the end of the day, you need to love what you do, both for being successful and also to be happy. That is the most important thing. The second form of love is the love for the people we serve. Now, it may mean multiple things. For me as a designer, is the people buying the products that I design. But if you are a musician, is the people listening to your music. If you're a podcaster, is the people listening and watching you and your podcast. Is essentially the people you give a service to, you give a solution to, you give something to. Loving them means to try to understand them, understand what they need, what they want, what they dream, and try to give them the most extraordinary experience. The same thing you will do for your parents, for your friends, for your kids, you know, people you really care about. You need to put that kind of mindset inside your brain and look at the people you serve, the thousands or billions of people, in my case with PepsiCo, that we serve every day, as well, if I was serving my daughter or my mom or my wife or whatever, you know, people close to me. The third form of love is the love for the people surrounding you. There is not, we don't live anymore in the one man or one woman show society. You cannot go in a garage and create everything by yourself and change the world. There are very few people that can still do that. Almost nobody in any industry, because there is such a level of specialization, the role of technology, globalization, that you need multiple skills, very vertical. So you need multiple great talents with you. and you need to take them with you. You take them with you, yes, with your vision, with your aspirations, with your dreams. But in this kind of world we live in today, with this kind of efficiency and accelerated competition and global approach to everything we do, well, we need to care about the people we take with us as well. It's not just about inspiring them with a dream, but it's really about caring for them and taking them with a form of love and care that you have for them.
That's amazing. So this is accurate. Let me know that the three things are, the first one is love what you do. The second one is love the people you serve. And the third one is love the people surrounding you.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Actually, if you think about it, the first one is like having a purpose. The second one is like love for the people.
I think the second one is more of the purpose, because essentially your purpose may be to create value for others. The first one is love what you do, is really about personal happiness and personal satisfaction. Yeah, that's true. And the third one is about the connection you have with others, and the fact that even that is a driver of your happiness. At the end of the book, actually, I talk about how to design your happiness, and I talk about 3 specific areas of focus that are really important, that come from human science, and they're totally aligned with these 3 dimensions of love. The first thing that you need to do to be happy is to invest on yourself. Define who you are in the world. You know, we are born like raw material, raw energy. And what we are supposed to do in our life is to chisel, away that raw material to define ourselves. This is what Michelangelo will tell you. This is what Michelangelo did with his sculpture. He used to say, I have the marble, the raw material, and then I chisel away the extra stone to free up the potential of the stone, the figure, the art that is already in. At the end of his career, actually, he created the so-called non finiti, unfinished, or they're also called the prisoners. Essentially, they're sculptures where you still see part of the stone raw, and you see like this figure, this face and this body that start to come out of the stone. It was a way to symbolize, that idea that you are already in the stone, but you need to chisel away the extra material. So the first dimension is for you. You're born with a potential. During life, you're gonna learn, you're gonna do experiences, you're gonna choose a job, and essentially you are starting to define who you are. Even right now, by deciding to have a podcast, to give a name to the podcast, to put yourself out there, you are defining your identity. You are different than many other people out there, and the many people listening to us right now are different than many others as well. So we are all different from one another. Some of us, to define themselves, mimic a celebrity, mimic an idol. Some others instead take inspiration from others, but then they find their own unique identity. So the first thing to do to be happy is define who you are. By the way, your job is going to be important in this definition. The job is a very important component of what we do, but it cannot be the only thing. Because if you lose your job, you're going to lose your identity. And this is the mistake that many adults do. They put everything in the job, and then they lose the job and they disappear. They're nobody anymore. So the first dimension is invest in yourself. And that's why, going back to people in love with people, the passion for what you do is key. The second dimension to be happy is invest in people close to you. Is your family, is your friends, your close community. Give love in a selfless way. Do not expect anything in return. But by definition, if they're close to you, they will give you love back. You will enjoy giving out and you will enjoy receiving back. Is a 2-direction kind of flow. And this connects back to that idea of loving the people surrounding you. This is such a driver of happiness. And maybe when you are, when we are at your age, I remember myself at your age, and then in the years of university, you realize this less because you're so focused on defining yourself. or starting your career, or understanding who you're going to be. You're there really trying to be, who am I, right? And it's that typical journey. But the more you grow, the more you realize how important close family members, the friends, and everything become in a different way than the first year. They assume a different kind of role. Then there is a third dimension. And the most of us arrive to that dimension late in life. I arrived, I learned that, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, something like this. And I'm 48 right now. This is to do something bigger than you, something that transcends you, something that you call it earlier is a purpose in your life. Something that is not about creating value for you, is something selfless once again, but in a much bigger way than the second dimension. It could be doing charity work, but it could be also, for instance, in your line of job, in what I do as a designer is to try to create real value for people, giving them real value through PepsiCo and what I do in PepsiCo, is to try to elevate the role of design and design thinking to humanize more and more all these companies out there, all the companies of the world, transcending also PepsiCo, really using this platform to reach as many people as possible. So this is all purposeful kind of action. Things that are at this point are bigger than me. I don't need to do that, but I find satisfaction in that. And this links back to serve the people, the love for the people you serve. Now, this one seems really, really selfless. It sounds like, oh my God, that's beautiful to have, but is it true? Is it real? It sounds a little bit fake. Come on. The reality is that even this goes back to you. Why? Because at a certain point in your life, you start to think about what is going to happen after you're gone, after your life ends. So purposeful actions are what are going to make you immortal. Is a legacy. Is people remembering what you did even when you're gone. We all, I just mentioned Michelangelo. I mentioned a variety, in my book, a variety of people that don't exist anymore. We still talk about them because they created something that was bigger than them and they left a legacy to all of us. Now, this legacy could be you're Steve Jobs and you create Apple and Pixar. It could be that big. But legacy could be also small acts of kindness in your neighborhood, even if you are without a job, that will make you immortal because people will remember you for what you did, transcending yourself, transcending your close community, just doing something good for the people out there.
Mauro, I think you're a chief design officer and you're also a motivational speaker. I love everything. I agree with all. It's very valuable knowledge. And I think for all the teens watching, it's a lot of things we need to learn from you. Actually, these are the last two questions that I actually asked all my guests. You kind of already answered the first one, but the first one is, what's your best advice for teens?
First of all, do not be afraid to dream. Think big. You, Sachin, you decided to dream and you are like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast. I can do it. And you're doing it very well. I mean, you interview very well. I tell you that there are many people, that have 20 years of experience, more than you, in doing these kind of things that are not as good as you are. So dream, think big. And right now, when, you are at your age, is easier, because we are all born with the ability to dream. As children, we dream, we fantasize. Then at a certain point, somebody starts to tell us, well, that's really childish. You should stop dreaming. You will find so many people that will try to stop you from dreaming because they will tell you that dreaming, again, is not mature, is childish. There are so many constraints in life. You shouldn't dream. But you need to keep going. You need to push and keep dreaming. Because there is no way that you can realize a dream if you don't have that dream. And all the people that changed the world, that created great things, they all started with a dream. And when you have a dream, there is a high probability there will be a good 90% of the people surrounding you that will tell you that that dream is childish, or that is crazy, or that is totally impossible to realize.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be important that you keep dreaming. Now, dreaming is not enough, then you need to be able to roll up your sleeves and execute. Moving from the big thinking to the details of the execution, because execution is key. But you need to start with a dream. Never stop dreaming is the basic point. Everything starts from there.
I think there's a quote that goes, I don't know if this is said 100% properly, but actually I think it's never be limited by someone's limited imagination. So it's pretty much saying that, like, just because they have a limited imagination, if you have a dream and they think you're crazy. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. All the entrepreneurial successful people said that everybody thought they were crazy when they talked to them about their company's idea, and then it became a multi-billion-dollar company. So
look,
yeah.
there is Arthur C. Clarke, the author of Space Odyssey and a variety of different books and things like this. He used to say there are 3 steps for any breakthrough innovation. The first one is you have the great idea, you go to tell this idea to somebody, and they will tell you it's impossible to do it. Well, but you really believe in it, so you keep investing in it, you work in it, you go back to these people, and you're like, you see, I realized the first prototype is actually feasible, it's possible. I told you that it was possible. And they will tell you, you know what? You are really right, it's possible, but you know what? It's not worth to do it. There is not a good return. It's not worth to do it, but you will keep doing it. You will find ways to do it, find sponsor, and finally you will launch your electric car, your iPhone, your drone, your new soda, your new whatever you are innovating. You will go back to those people and they will tell you, I knew it was a great idea all along. It's like this. Once you do it, everybody's like, oh yeah, of course, I thought about this 10 years ago, and why I didn't think about this? But to get there, the most of the people will tell you that you are crazy. Never give up. Listen to them, learn from the feedback. Don't be arrogant. Don't be close-minded, because some of this feedback may be real, may be good, maybe teach you a few things that may help you steer in direction. But then do not give up on the dream. Go for it.
That's what Ochakde means. Go for it. That's why I named the show. That's why the name of the show is Ochakde, because it means go for it. Mauro, I'm telling you, you have to be a motivational speaker as well. I know you're already SVP and Chief Design Officer, but if you have time, you should do that. And you're already an author. I mean, this was an amazing episode. Last question of the day is, what was your favorite part of being on this show today?
Your age and the age of your audience. In my social media, if I look at the stats, the most of the people that follow me are between 25, 30 years old and the early 30s. But I would, the book I wrote and the messages I deliver, for me, my audience is people of your age and even younger, actually. When I wrote the book, I didn't have a daughter yet, but I was thinking, I'm writing this book before anybody else for my kids in the future, because I want them to be exposed to so many things that it took 48 years for me to learn. And so I want to concentrate all of that in this. So talking to people of your age, for me, is so damn exciting. And I thank you for the opportunity that you gave me today.
Of course, yeah. I mean, teenagers, all the teens that watch my show, the high schoolers, they love all the people I interview. And I talked to them about you. They're like, that's so cool. Like PepsiCo, that's such an awesome company. So guys, make sure to check out the human side of innovation. Mauro, I look forward to seeing all the amazing things that PepsiCo does in the future. Thanks again. Guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.